What's happening, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, we're here. All right. So, got some articles to bring to you guys. And last night's live we did with Matt was awesome, guys. I thought I had a really fun time and engagement with what was going on. I was watching the comment section and then YouTube decided to block it. So that sucked. I had to take that down because they had blocked it and gave us not a strikey strike, but like a slap on the wrist saying something about it. I really think that video was just gaining a lot of traction. We had a great episode where we just had a good time, man. All lives that we do like on every Thursday at 6 p.m. We had this thing called the Minute Man, and it's a bunch of my YouTube buddies all over the place. Brazil, West Virginia, Texas, Wisconsin, all them places. And we had a great time. Next thing you know, YouTube said, put a squash on that. But no worries. It was great, and a lot of people got to see it, and we'll do many, many more. So thank you guys for all the support. It's neat. It's really kind of neat to seeing all that go on. Who would have thought? Just this like skinny. My wife says, "You're not a redneck," but in the area I live in, this skinny redneck dude out here just kicking the butt and trying to help save America, and really the only way I've been able to do that is through the help of y'all. So I am 10% of it. Y'all are the 90, and so thank you very much. That's all I could say. And let me get this me out the way, and we'll roll through a couple of articles. Recently, Trump had a huge announcement, and it's mixed emotions behind it because the huge announcement was the NFT trading cards, and then the announcement afterwards was a really powerful and moving statement by Donald Trump that had to do with what his plans are, when elected, and what would be the steps moving forward. And it would have been kind of better to have that one first, and then maybe the NFT card next. But I'm a guy that I'm open-minded, and we're at the point when it comes to campaigning, when it comes to trying to get the message out, when it comes to trying to overcome a system that seems to be slightly tilted, I'll put it to you like that. Unconventional times call for unconventional methods. So I don't really think that it's the blunder that everybody says. I don't think so, because Trump hasn't changed a bit. He's still the same Trump. Matter of fact, I actually kind of thought it was neat to see that side of Trump in this time frame, because we need a little bit of levity. I got the humor through the whole thing. It was designed to poke fun at the left and give them talking points. And with his sense of humor, he was pretty much, when he was talking about the NFT cards only costing $100 and say, oh, it's not, he was making fun of inflation, and maybe it went over a few people's heads. It didn't didn't mind. I got it completely and thought it was hilarious. And I was really that really put a moment in my heart where I missed this guy, because I remember how he was when he was in office. He would troll the media and just do all this outlandish stuff and still getting it done, killing it when it came to getting things passed that helped to save America. And he almost had that wall done if he wasn't headed off every 5 seconds by some crazy organization that had to do with wanting to screw America up, pretty much. But that's my take of that. So I think, and by the way, all those NFT cards are sold out now. So somebody gets to be eating dinner with him. I don't know. Well, I laughed last night. I was picking about Kanye West buying a bunch of them. I want to eat dinner with Donald Trump. Anyways, so out of the way again, I get back over here, put myself back over here. Here is, I'm letting the good stuff out first, guys. We'll get there in a second. All right. Donald Trump's first NFT offering sells out in less than a day. And I'll admit, that was, he made $4.5 million off of that. And that was pretty amazing. So where was this a problem? How was this a big flop? And, I just think that, be honest with you, that's got everybody talking about it. Think about this. Everybody's talking about how big of a flop it was, but he still made $4.5 million. And, he got his message out. He needed a way for the mainstream media to talk about him. The mainstream media wasn't going to do anything but talk bad about him anyways, right? So why not create a situation where that's all that they've got to do, and that puts anybody knows that bad publicity is better than no publicity. In the way that the left-wing media has become so biased, they're not going to cover anything that Trump does with any positivity, if any at all. Wow, what a cool move, guys. I thought it was pretty cool. I embrace it. I embrace the odd and the weird as long as it's effective and it works. So, yeah, made a bunch of money off of it, got everybody talking, and, there's one of the one was, where was the other one at? I kind of quit saying all the time. Y'all get on to me for doing that. It's easy to do because you want to fill that dead space with something. Check that out. Right there. Oh, my goodness. That's funny. I like that one the best because in the middle of that, he was talking about how he was, again. He was talking about how he had done all this stuff and everything. And, that was another poke at Biden. Okay? I'm trying to lay this out so you can be like, oh, it makes sense now because Biden talked about doing all this stuff and he never did. And so Trump says, well, I can too. He taught all these things that he laid out, talking about all that the greatest president did and the whole time. There's another one right there. He's on Mars, all this stuff. That's what that is. Dude, come on, let's have a little bit of levity here. And I think that in peril times, sometimes that's what we need to make it through. Keep morale up. So, guys, I don't call it a flop. I think that we need to look at it in a sense to where it got his name in there. Excuse me, guys. North Carolina ID for the voting is still void after Supreme Court ruling. And look at that right there. I don't know what's going on here, but, what's happening is we got some new people coming in, and this law can be changed in a minute. It was supposed to be in effect. It was passed. I'm going to show you right here. We hold 3-judge panel. Let me find where it says it. It says we formulated with an impermissible intent to discriminate. So they're here once again, discriminate against African-American voters in violation of North Carolina. They're saying that being the fact they would need a voter ID, that it would be a discrimination against the people like that. And I think that by actually saying that is kind of the capital R word that we're so afraid of in itself, because like everybody's got an ID. And, you could even amend, I don't know. There could be ways to get around. I think that there's nothing racist at all about it. I don't know if I should. Trigger words, YouTube. But the deal is this. I'm trying to find it where it says it here because I read in the article. I live in North Carolina. This is what we wanted. And, I keep saying again. I'm going to get all over myself. In the article, it says it was passed by voters. This is what they wanted. Legislation with this was passed. It had a vote on it in North Carolina. Everybody said, okay, we want it. And then it was struck down by a Supreme Court judge in Roy Cooper. And that's kind of been where we're at with that whole thing. But we actually still managed to persevere and overcome some things because we had a pretty good turnout so far as North Carolina's conservative judges, and we got Ted Budd in there, and that's good. So we overcome a lot of that, and imagine where we'd be at if we had actual real thing. And this is where Steve Bannon is talking about it was he ought to be fired today. Steve Bannon is saying that it was a blunder, and it may have been an intentional blunder. He might have had a person that was working for him that did that on purpose to do that, but I don't think it did that. I really don't. Myself, and I. Trump has talked a lot about those talking points, a lot. And if he'd have said that from the get-go, mainstream media was not going to put that out there. They would have suppressed that anyways. The only thing they would have put out was the NFT thing. This gave them the ability for them to talk about it by putting it in that order. Because the right people saw what needed to be saw with his second message. And the right people saw what he needed to see for the NFT stuff. I don't know. And then, check this out. Electric vehicle charging in Oslo, Norway, is now more than twice as expensive as filling up a gas-powered vehicle. Now, this is in Norway. Of course, they are having somewhat of an energy crisis because of some weird circumstances that has to do with things that happen to a certain way of them carrying fuel underground. Don't know who did that. But it is more than twice as expensive now. What do you think about that, guys? Girls and guyettes. CDC director says, her name is Rochelle Walensky, in case y'all didn't know this. But she says that the misinformation of the V word is one of the biggest public health threats. And I agree. And she would know firsthand about that because of the fact that I'm pretty sure that she's the one that's put most of it out there. Just saying, guys. Because at one point in time, they were, this was the stuff that was going to be the stuff. And then come to find out here not long ago, she came to forth and said that it was not, this is her words, designed, or it was not going to keep people, and that wasn't going to keep from it being passed along. I'm using certain words, guys, because of the trigger things. So please forgive me for that. But she came up and said that. Said, and this is why the military has now, we're not requiring that anymore, plus low turnout numbers. That's all. You hear that, Xi Jinping? Anyways, I've got some good news at this. This is a short segment, but I wanted to bring out some good news, and hopefully this goes somewhere at some point. But Pennsylvania is doing a hand recount of the 2020 results. This is in early 2023 in response to a 5,000 petition signature. In Lycombe County, Pennsylvania, this is going to do a recount of the 2020, and it'll be held on January 9th, which is just right after 2023. And there's some words that are triggery, but just know that's going to happen. Don't know what the deal is, what exactly I don't want to talk any more about that because I don't want to add anything to that or take away from it, but that's just what's happening in Pennsylvania right now. Okay. And last but not least, Judge Grants Kari Lake's request to examine Maricopa County things that they used to put in the boxes, the caster things as the trigger words, in preparation for the upcoming thing that they're going to have here. I don't know if that's a trigger word or not, but there's when it starts with a T and ends with an I. They're going to have that, and that's they need to examine these things, and so that's really good that happened. They could have said, well, no, and all this stuff. You're going to have to find other ways, and really, it's a good thing that happened. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not going to hype this up either. I'm not going to add anything to it or take away from it. I just know that right now that's what's happening, and we just have to hope that an outcome comes in favor of the good side of law. And it gets 50 random selected printed papers so 50 random selected early papers, 50 randomly selected envelopes. So this is going to be sort of a risk limited type thing. I don't know. However, the request for the inspection of the things moves beyond the statutory scope of the permitted inspection. And even if they arrive as a package, the plaintiff argues the defendants are correct. And unlike the return envelopes, they don't. So, yeah, it's Katie Hobbs' office. I'm reading the article a little bit kind of as I go here. It's been a long day. A lot of work. But looks like that case is kind of moving in a positive direction. So, kudos for that and everything. So we just can only hope for a good outcome, something. Set precedents for something to happen, maybe. Do I have faith in all that stuff? I have faith that God has a plan. If you everybody says, well, why are you even worried about what's going on with that and everything? Because first of all, it's not my duty to sit back and just let it happen, because then that to me actually thwarts God's will. God's will is for me to be a hard worker and care about other things other than myself. And I am, all men when it comes to our cars and stuff are a little bit self-centered. We like our stuff and our tools. But you have to look at the bigger picture when it comes to humanity and what's going on around you. Even the people who are kind of straight away and far off on the left and don't know, they can't see what's going on. You've got to kind of try to help them. That's why I'm doing this. We'll rally up the people that are here, that knows what's going on. Great. Hopefully this video skips out in the middle of nowhere and some normie looks at it and one person is better than none and says, you know what? Might need to look into some of the stuff that's going on here. Just to start. And so it's my job to not sit back. It's my job to try to do the best I can in everything I do. And am I doing this? I'm doing the best I can. I promise you guys. I know it might not look like it, but we're doing the best we can. But we love everybody in this world. We love America, and we want to save it. So just know that God has a plan. We just got to keep moving in the path that's of goodness. That's all. And everything will be fine. We're shielded from all that stuff. Whatever they do to us doesn't matter. Remember that. So thank you guys for tuning in. Lots of love. God is in control.